Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
There's
now
Bert.
I'm getting nervous.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, thanks so much for being willing to sit down and be interviewed, and we can talk a
You're
little.
very welcome.
Oh yes, some cello action. It's good to get two different perspectives as well. This is going to be a good one. So anyway, yeah. So tell me a little bit about E-MEX. Um,
Yes.
yes.
The ensemble was founded in 1999.
Okay.
And our first concert was in early 2000.
Okay.
Um, and we are based in the northwestern Germany around Cologne. Cologne is the
Okay.
big city here, close by.
Yes.
I'm in Essen, which is just 1 hour with the car from
Yeah.
Cologne, and it's the most densely populated region of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So many big cities here around, and yes, we've been working closely with quite a lot of composers and always trying to enlarge our perspectives a bit and make new acquaintances. And now we have a core of performers. These are 11 musicians, including a regular conductor.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the instruments, well, violin, cello, flute, clarinet, oboe, trombone, accordion, percussion, piano,
Mm-hmm.
and conductor.
Mm-hmm.
And we do projects in many different settings and circumstances, under very different circumstances. So sometimes it's smaller chamber music concerts with just 2-3 performers, maybe, but up to 20 bigger projects.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's almost like a chamber orchestra sometimes.
Okay.
And we have regular guests
Mm-hmm.
that perform with us on a regular basis. We always ask if we, for example, we need a string quartet or 2 or 3 or 4 percussionists or electronics or a trumpet and so on. So we are quite consistent regarding our performers.
Mm-hmm.
So we know each other really well and have made music together for quite a long time, which I think is a great advantage, because you don't need to discuss that much, and you just know each other very well. You know how someone will breathe, for example. You don't even have to look, because you know him or her. And
Yeah.
yeah, and well, I could tell you a lot about what we do, what we currently do, what we just projected that we did this or last year. What would you like to know?
I mean, we are based in Essen. Yeah, we are based in Essen, do a lot of projects in Cologne and Essen and the whole region and around. And we have every year like 1 or 2 projects abroad. We were like 5 years in Korea each year. Or we had a project with the Beijing Conservatory. So yeah, we have both those things. We love to work with ensembles from other countries. We worked together with Proxima from France, or with a music group from Taiwan, and so we have this lots of concerts in the region, but really trying to reach out as well and playing in different countries.
Oh, that's really cool. Like, you guys go on tour a lot, and yeah.
Yeah, like once or twice a year. In November, we will go to Izmir in Turkey and do workshops and concerts there, and work with students there. some people composed for us some pieces, some students, and yeah, so it's always both.
Yeah, well, there you go. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So I'm really curious about this. How did you get the name E-MEX?
It was before my time. I only play in E-MEX since 2003. So Martin has to tell.
Yeah.
While we always get this question, so the name's just our invention. It doesn't really have a specific meaning that I could explain, but it has a history.
Yeah.
That had to do with the founding of the ensemble. And it just had something to do with our flutist and clarinet player at the time. Clarinet player is still a member of the ensemble. We just a couple of days ago we played a concert together, and there was there still is an association in the region here that is called E-MEX, and they do very experimental things, improvised music, very free. And the idea just was because our flutist and clarinet player were active in this association and did something there occasionally, that we found an ensemble that plays composed music, that is really notated and composed pieces. Well, and we had our first concert. The date was fixed, and so we just needed a name. And that's how this name E-MEX originated.
Wow, that's so cool.
MEX is music experimental, sort of. So M for music, EX for experimental, and the E is for ensemble. So ensemble, music, experimental. Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
If you just look at the letters.
That's really cool. Okay, very good. So yeah, so awesome. So I have like those questions that I put in the email. So what is the best way for composers to connect with your ensemble? I'm always curious to hear this. What are some good tips, tricks, techniques?
Well, it's very hard to give a general and advice that is valid in each and every case. Very often, it starts with a project that we just conceive together and think about a program and just develop some ideas in exchange, in very close exchange. That's one of our aims, just to work very closely with composers. And so there is an idea for a concert or tour. Another way is just about, like this project that Burkhard mentioned, next month in Turkey. That came about with our contact with the eminent Turkish composer Füsun Köksal. And she wrote several pieces that we performed and premiered also, and that's quite a new contact for us. We started during the pandemic time in 2020. So we performed some of her music, and she's a great composer. So we enjoyed it very much and kept in touch. And so the idea came about that we do something there in Izmir. There is a new music festival there, the only one taking place regularly in Turkey, and as far as I know. And she had the idea that we play one program representing a bit the diversity of new music also in this country, what we do, because people in Turkey will be interested to hear that, but also to do a second concert with very, very young composers. And so we have in this project in November Izmir New Music Days on 21st and 22nd of November, We'll have two concerts, one with more older, middle-aged composers, maybe, and another one with very, very young composers. Three still studying or just having finished their studies. Three from Turkey and three from Germany or German music academies, music universities. And so we chose the composers from Germany. And Füsun, Köksal, the three from Turkey. And we're looking very much forward to this project. It's I think it's exactly what we want to do, to somehow present a very broad spectrum of contemporary music. So the pieces that we will play in both concerts will be very, very different. And I think it's one of our aims, one of our qualities, that we are very open-minded to very different sorts of contemporary music. We do very, very different things. We do even occasionally we play some more historic music from the early 20th century, or some of the big names of post-war composers internationally. And even some classic, some rock music. Sometimes it's not our focus. Our focus is working with living composers, of course. But but when there is a good idea, and you can combine things, that's something that we are very much interested in. And while the ensemble was founded completely entirely by performers. So we are. That's something I think that distinguishes E-MEX a bit. It's not connected with a specific style in your music. It's not. So of course we have some composers we are befriended with, and we have worked together since the founding of the ensemble. So for a very long time we know each other really well. But we also always take up new cooperations, make new contacts, and so we are not specialized in one specific style of contemporary music. And I think that's an advantage and makes things more adventurous.
And fun.
And fun, yes.
But I mean, how to connect with us? I think the old-fashioned way is just, I mean, come to our concerts or write us an email and say, I'm this composer and I do this work, and give some links to your performances or something. And we do look at those mails, and we and then you just need to be at the right time in the right place so that we work. There's a possibility to work together. But it's those two ways. I mean, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, but I think if you really want to connect, write an email and write something about yourself.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So, man, like, I feel like already just from talking with you guys that you're like an exceptionally awesome ensemble. Just like the vibe that I get. So thank you so much. Yes. So it feels like you're really open to a lot of things. So what are some mistakes that composers have made with your ensemble? I didn't ask that, but I'm always interested to ask this. If there's any serious mistakes that composers have made. So
well, the normal serious mistake is just hand the score like a week before the performance and say, enough to practice 1 week on my piece. Yes, but as a performer, you might not have an hour in the week before the concert. So be quite early with your score, and that's the most common mistake, I would say. Other than that, be specific about what you want. I think that's one advice to the composers I would always make. So yeah, in your score, write what kind of sound do you want, so that as a performer, if you write me just the technique, sometimes I can make 3 different sounds with a technique. But so be specific about the sounds and everything you want, and then I know what to play. And be exact in what you write. I mean, it's, be specific and really give us a score where I can see, you know what you want. If I have questions, I will ask. If I have 5 questions, I will ask. If I have 20 questions, I will find the answers myself.
Yeah, I believe that. It's always like I feel like as a professional composer, it's always kind of heart-wrenching when you get that email and they're like, I have a question about this, and you're like, dang it, I wasn't specific enough, or like I didn't so yeah.
No, so it's always nice to just write what's the kind of sound you want, and then it's fine. And and I will do my best to find that sound.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, yep. It happened to me a while ago. Like I had them playing more than one note on the piano with this finger, and so I needed to be a little bit more clear with that. So anyway, but yeah, it's interesting, as a pianist, like everyone's hands are way different. And so like something that works for me doesn't work for someone else, even though I have small fingers, as a pianist. So it's weird that it works that way, but so anyway, what did you have anything to say about as a pianist, mistakes that composers have made, Martin?
Oh, mistakes. Well, it sounds very strict.
Yeah, it does.
Of course, we are always willing to do some experiments with sounds and maybe some things. During the process of rehearsing, we may find some solutions that actually work better. And that's just when you play a piece for the first time. Just normal with contemporary music. It's very, very common that that many things will still change in the notation maybe, and then the distribution of hands perhaps, or some pianistic solutions that I may find or may suggest. While mistakes, it happens with more, let's say, more unexperienced composers, like students, for example. And that's maybe one advice I can give, though I'm sure that there are people much more competent than I am to give advice to composers, composition teachers, for example. I think a certain level of professionalism in the way how to notate things. And I would say that some instrumental training always helps, or an advice just to work as a young composer, work as much as you can with performers. Just try to find people who are willing to spend some time with you, just to try out things and find some ways. Sometimes it happens with unexperienced composers that they have some idea in mind what they want to do, but it just doesn't really work. It sounds somehow awkward because it's written without respect for the instrument, without knowing the instrument well enough just to achieve a certain sound, a certain effect. And that's why I say that working with performers is, I think, a very important thing for young composers. And of course, know the instruments. It's just, if someone writes something and writes some notes that just don't exist on a certain instrument. I even had this in the piano part. And I think with the piano, it would be quite easy to check if the songs really exist on the piano. Sometimes that happens, and of course, that's a mistake in craftsmanship. But generally, we are, in these cases, we are quite, with students, we are quite indulgent. So they're still learning. So.
Yeah, that's nice. That's
it's
nice.
important for composers to be educated about notation, to read scores of different composers, and not to find too many own signs that already exist in the modern music world by others and are established. And then be consistent about them. I had once a performance by a composer who even is a composition teacher, and one sign meant in one piece something, and in the other piece it meant exactly the opposite. It was once damping, and the other piece, the exact same sign meant letting the string ring. And it's quite hard to know, oh, in this piece, this sign means that, and in the other one, a completely different thing. So any sign that is already used, please use what is there. And if you definitely have to find new things sometimes, but then be very consistent about it.
That's such a good point. I've never thought about that, but that's such a good point. Like if there's something that's consistently there and you're giving it to a new music professional, then yeah, like you better use the notation that other people have used. So yeah. So
yeah, yes. I think it's while all these extended techniques that exist in contemporary music, different ways of producing new sounds, completely new sounds, different ways of playing. I think all these things have been done since the 1960s. Yes. Prepared piano and inside playing in the piano, for example, and there is there's nothing like one single rule for notating this, but something that is commonly used. How to notate harmonics on a piano string. It doesn't help like if you notate for a piano, if you notate an harmonic, to write down the like with a string instrument, the interval that you need to like how do I know on the piano string whether the fifth or the sixth or whatever it is, so just write the result, what you want. And these are practical things. I would say that have something to do with craftsmanship, studying, and there are composers, older generation composers, who did it quite well. And this way of notating things has become quite common and can be learned, can be studied.
Yeah. So open up a barrio sequenza maybe, or like. So yeah, cool. I like that a lot. Yes. So the other question that I had is, how do you feel about your audience? Like,
we love our audience.
Like, so what's, what are some of your aims for that? Like, who do you want to be like sitting down and watching you?
I mean, it's nice to have a little bit of everything. It depends where you are. Sometimes people who know you, who know how you play, come. Sometimes you play in a new music place, so people knowing new music and coming for that to that place are coming. Sometimes you play at a place where normally classical music is played, and then that audience comes. And it's nice to have the mixture. It's always nice to have people in the audience who just listen to everything and are not really specifically new music people. It's nice to have composers there. It's nice to have colleagues there. It's nice to have friends there. It's nice to have the new music group of the particular city. But yeah, I think it's always nice to really include quite a lot of those groups and not just play for one of those groups.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that's
I
good.
think yes. Well, we don't like the idea of exclusivity so much.
Yeah.
It's of course with new music there are some festivals specialized in new music, and there is a very specific audience there. We try to reach out a bit.
Yes.
Sometimes we play, of course, we like to play in new music festivals, and there is specific audience that is to be expected there. But we also like to play at venues that are not exactly well known for new music, but we go there and do something new. And we reach out for a broad public that is interested in music, in arts. And we like to play in museums, for example, and you have some visitors of the museum that just attend the concert by chance because they were just there and saw there is a concert. And of course, depends a bit on what you offer there. What do you do exactly? But I'd say it's not what we do is not directed at a particular and exclusive audience. We just sometimes we do even pedagogical projects and work with children, little children sometimes. We did some more pedagogically oriented, but still new music, still very new music, very experimental things with children from preschool or very young pupils, not even attending a music school, but it's just, and we do it here in this city. We do it also in some areas where usually the young students never get in touch with this kind of music, and the younger they are, the more curious they are, and they have eyes like this. They see something completely new, and they hear some strange sounds, some funny things maybe. And we make them participate, also try out our instruments, and some of them have never touched an instrument before, any instrument, any music instrument. And so this is some part of our work that we like to do. It's not always easy to get funding for these projects. But that's in our mind, where we need to build an audience also. So we need to somehow correspond with the curiosity of a very young audience.
Very, very good. I mean, my wife is not a professional musician, but she's taken piano for like a decade or whatever. But like she loves that stuff. Like she has no so I think it goes to show that, you don't have to be a musician to really appreciate and enjoy like the type of music that you do. And so anyway. Okay. The bell. But anyway.
Yes, there's a church just across the garden
here. Very good. Well, this has been such a great interview. And I'll see if I can definitely forward recommend you guys to my students and and to myself and but very good, and hopefully we can chat sometime in the future maybe if you wanted, but I really appreciate what you had to say, and I'll try to keep it to 30 minutes just because I want to just make sure that I don't take up too much of your time, but it's been really great, and I'll let you go. So is there anything that you wanted to say before we wrapped it up, or?
There's a lot to say, of course. Well, maybe if you still have some questions. So I was prepared for an interview of about an hour, maybe. So
yeah.
no time pressure.
No time pressure. Let's see. I think that's mainly what I had, but I really appreciate talking with you, and yeah, very, very good. Thank you so much, E-MEX, Martin and Burkhart. Have a good one, and yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thanks for your interest.
Yes, thank
Pleasure
you.
for us.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.